Another week, another video, and thank you so much for your patience. I've had a few people message me asking when the next video is. I apologize. Last week I moved and there's lots of boxes to unpack, and if you ever moved before in your life, then you understand it's stressful. So thank you so much for your patience, and I hope you enjoy this video. But it's really important for you to understand what's happening in April, what's happened now, and why it's important, and what may happen in the future. In the second part of this video, I'll clarify that. But why should you listen to me? Well, I'm Ryan, I'm a chartered financial planner, and I've been doing this for about a decade. I make videos around pensions, around investing, and it's my job to help you understand that. It's educational, so this is just purely factual information that is not my opinion and definitely not financial advice. But if you do want that, we can have a chat, you can book a free consultation, no problem at all. The key thing here is that at the moment, the state pension is about £230 a week. That is increasing to £241.30 a week in April soon. What that increase is driven by is the triple lock. I put a bit of information as to what that is on screen. Now, the triple lock increases by CPI, wages, or 2.5, whichever is higher. This means that the increase in April is by 4.8%, which is massive. Now, that increase is good for those that are receiving the state pension. It does mean there is more of a burden on the state to provide and be able to pay for that, which again is another problem. That's an evolving situation. Now, the state pension being £11,973 a year at the moment, pre-April, in 30 days' time, means that you've only got £597 of headroom before you hit the current personal allowance tax threshold, which as it stands is £12,570. That has been frozen for the coming years. Why it's still frozen, different conversation. It's very frustrating for those that pay a lot of tax. But what Rachel Reeves has said is that those that will have a state pension in the coming years that is increased above that will not, for the moment, pay any tax. So some people get savings credits, some people have effectively a state pension that is above the personal allowance threshold, so they will not need to pay their taxes. Now, that's what she said. That's not me saying this. This is not financial advice. This is purely educational and the information that's quite widely available. What's important here is that that increase with the triple lock means that in the coming years, it's going to keep increasing. Now, on screen, I've put a little bit of a graph where you can quite literally see the effect over the last decade, really, or decade and a bit, of CPI, wages, 2.5%, but the triple lock in that blue line. And that's a massive increase. And that's based on the value of £100 a decade ago. Now, what's interesting here on the next screen is if inflation keeps, if the triple lock keeps doing what it's doing in the coming years, you can see on the left column, we've got the tax year, then we've got the annual increase of 2.5, 3.5, and then 4.5. And that's based on the state pension value in the coming tax year. Each year you can see what the state pension might be depending on all three of those metrics, which means as we scroll down, and I put my final little line on the screen, that by 2050, the state pension could be around 23k or even £36,000 if it's on the higher end, which is insane because we have a lot of people that receive state pension. So this increase in cost is kind of showing that it's going to be really hard to sustain the state pension on that triple lock. Now, the triple lock exists to protect the value of money and ensure that there is a good standard of living, so people are not living in poverty. But the concern there is that, can the country afford to do so? Is there something that's going to fundamentally change in the coming years? And my belief, personal opinion, is I think there is going to be a massive fundamental shift because we had the pension freedoms, back a decade ago, back in like 2014. We've had the auto-enrollment going through, so people are building up their private pension pots or should be building up their private pension pots. So does this mean by 2030 we might actually see a shift in the way state pension is viewed? Now, as you may know, to get the basic state pension, the new basic state pension, you need 30 years worth of national insurance contributions just to receive £184.90 per week, or £9,614.80, or to receive the full new basic state full new state pension, you need 35 qualifying years to receive that £241.30 or £12,547.60, which is a meaningful difference in someone's retirement, especially if it's at least somewhat inflation linked. So I think this is really good for those that are in retirement that have paid taxes for decades, but it does cause a strain on the system going forwards. Rightly or wrongly, I think the government need to learn to do more with less, like me and you probably have in the last number of years, and they need to kind of become a bit more of a lean machine. But that's a different conversation, as I have to keep saying, so I don't get in trouble. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, if you've got any comments, as always, put them. I'll happily make a video if there's a specific topic, a specific thing you want me to cover, or just clarify in a bit more detail. No problems doing that. I'll see you in the next one.